Okay, the takeaway from this video is truth is extreme, and to make it moderate is to lie. And there are a lot of people out there wanting to rewrite what they think the truth is, their
Most name
perspective of
brand
truth
bars
or
and body
whatever.
washes you rub
Sorry,
on
let
your
me get
skin are
this.
classified by the FDA as synthetic.
All right, so there's a lot of people who they don't care about the truth. They want to live in delusions. They want to live in fantasy. And from the anarchist voluntarist perspective, that's fine. People can live in whatever delusion they want to live in. The reason I wanted to talk about this South Park video is because it perfectly mocks something that people want us to live in, to the point where there's a law in New York. I don't know if it's on the books yet or if it's completely enacted, but if you misgender somebody, which a lot of people consider highly offensive, if you misgender them, then you're charged $250,000. You can be taken to court and charged $250,000. Now you can call yourself a dog, you can identify with cattle, you can be a guy who calls himself a woman who calls herself a guy, fine. But the moment you step over the line and you try to mandate that I or you address somebody by something other than that which is in accordance with the truth, then you've done something to other people which you wouldn't want done to yourself. Therefore, you've violated the golden rule. And that's what I have a big problem with. And that's why I like this South Park video. So let's go ahead and get into it. And then I want to show you a couple of examples, a couple of off the wall examples where the people who want you to buy into the transgender delusion actually see it, but they don't want to say anything because they look at things that they consider probably more delusional and go, "Oh yeah, that's not acceptable right there." And we're going to go over a couple examples. So let's get into South Park. Classic stuff here, guys.
Now is the current champion of the Strong Woman competition, Strong Woman. Miss Woman, do you feel ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready, David. There are just so many amazing women athletes
It's
out there
ma'am.
today. It makes me so proud.
Now, this is the first year that a trans woman is in the competition. How do you feel about that?
Amazing. I feel honored to be a part of history. I have a lot of incredible trans friends who are athletes, and so we're all.
Now, what they're going to capitalize on here is, oh, it's incredible. It's great. We're so inclusive. It's like, guys, it's not virtuous to be inclusive on everything that comes down the pike. Hey, it's fashionable that 2 + 2 = 5 now. Oh, great. Let's just be inclusive. Let's accept everybody. You can't possibly be wrong if you say 2 + 2 = 5. Don't tell somebody that 2 + 2 is not 5. Don't tell them that it's absolutely foreign, that you can demonstrate it. You might hurt their feelings. You might scar them psychologically. You might put them into a psychological coma. Guys, truth fears no scrutiny. And truth doesn't care what you say, what you do, what color you are, what title you have above your name. Truth is truth. It doesn't regard people because of who they are. The truth is, it's not about being in a cult of personality. So they're going to explode this thing wide open, and it's fascinating because South Park comes out of Hollywood. So I can only imagine that transgenders just completely just going overboard on this.
Inspired this woman's competing.
Uh-huh. And have you actually ever met Heather Swanson?
No, I've never competed against her before, no.
She's not exactly your average trans athlete.
Well, what is an average trans athlete? Honestly, I find that kind of bigoted, David.
Okay. Heather Swanson is actually joining us now. Miss Swanson, how does it feel to be competing today?
I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying.
I can't remember what wrestler does that. Is that like Randy Savage or who? What wrestler does that look like? I can't remember. Does anybody know? Is it Randy Savage? Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. That's right. Pretty classic, guys.
As a woman, now that I can compete as female, I'm ready to smash the other girls.
And is it correct you just started identifying as female 2 weeks ago?
I'm not here to talk about my transition. I'm here to kick some fucking ass. Let me tell you something, Dingleberry.
David Perry.
I'm gonna roll up the other women here, and I'm gonna smoke them. I am the
What I like about this is that the Randy Savage character is not trying to be feminine. And the whole point of it is, hey, just take my word for it. I'm a girl and I'm going to compete with the girls. So, you can't really say anything because if you do start saying something, then you're not inclusive. And you just can't be caught being non inclusive.
Youngest woman this state has ever seen.
Any words for the challenger, Miss Woman?
Good luck, Heather.
Luck is for dead.
It's like, oh, I hope I don't have to box you, dude. Hope I don't have to wrestle with you, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean dude. I meant woman. Hey, I'm gonna go and break this up because they'll probably try to strike my channel for playing too much continuous here. But I want to show you something. I got a couple things pulled up, and I want to show you. We're gonna get back to this, so stay tuned. There's way more. Well, there's like a minute more, but they speak volumes in that 1 minute. Let me just show you. Do you remember Zoe Tur? I'm not a Ben Shapiro fan by any means. He's like the ultimate Zionist. But I wanted to show you this because if you don't submit to their delusion, and that's exactly what this is, and I'm going to play kind of an extended clip here because I like a lot of what Shapiro actually says here, and I like the actual attitude he brings out of Zoe Tur, because this is an attitude that is actually dormant in those people who want to use the force and violence of government to make you believe that this is a woman. See, that's the problem, is they want to initiate force and violence on people if they don't play along with the delusion. So it's not so much that I don't have a problem. People can be involved in their own delusions if they want to. It's completely, if you read, I was going to pull up the article, but I've done so many videos on this. If you're trans, from the trans community, you are 40% more likely to commit suicide. So if you endorse the trans lifestyle, especially for a young child, you're actually endorsing a lifestyle that's going to see that child be 40% more likely to commit suicide. And what kind of person does that make you? Those are just the facts, okay? So here's the interaction between Zoe Turd, and Ben Shapiro.
The award? Yes. Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why?
I love that. I love that question. Why are we mainstreaming delusion? Why are you, mainstream media, trying to get me to buy into the idea that a man is a woman? Come on. Yeah, exactly, Robert Graves. 2 + 2 = 5. That's exactly what they're trying to get us to do. Hey, disregard, deny, and just shake off the truth and just join me in my lie. And if you don't join me in my lie, well, there's trouble on the horizon for you.
Delusion. Because Bruce, Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No, it's her. You're not being polite to the pronoun.
Because
disrespect.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner, who's been Bruce Jenner, and he's been a male all of his life, but you're going to get upset because you're calling her a him or her. I don't know. I'm so confused, man.
Care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male, with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological
It's
status.
building up in this guy. Building up.
I'm not on that train. He wants to be called she.
Yeah, he's going to absolve himself because he wants to go with the crowd. See, he's a yes man. He cares about what people think about him. He does not care what the truth thinks about him. And that's what the problem is. People care more what delusional human beings think about them than what the truth thinks about them. You know, I don't know about you guys, and I do pretty much know about some of you guys. When you lay your head down at night, don't you want to just be in line with the truth? Doesn't it make things just easier? Doesn't it add to your common sense and your sanity? And it literally takes away from your common sense and sanity if you push yourself away from the truth. It's kind of like being at a campfire. When you're at a campfire and it's real cold outside, say it's like a 20 or 30 degree night, super cold, you stand next to the campfire, and then the front of your jeans and your shirt just kind of start burning. They're kind of hot, but you turn away from it. It does not take long for the coldness to set in, and for the heat to go away. That's exactly the way truth is. You got to stay by the fires of truth.
I'm going to call her a she. I just have a problem with the message and the messenger.
So well, let's I'm going to do two things. I want to reiterate what Zoe said, which is the bifurcation of the courage to come forward after a lifetime as a male and a certain kind of a male versus did she deserve this award?
What's the courage? Where is the courage to come forward and say you're something that you're really not? And then to go further and try to get other people to believe that you are something that you're not. Seriously? This guy's a doctor? A doctor, really.
Listen, the awards, what are award ceremonies except an opportunity to catch some eyes?
Especially the
So, yeah. It's like, ESPN, well done, ABC. They did exactly what their job was, to attract eyes. They did it. That's what award ceremonies are for. But in terms of the science behind gendered dysphoria, you're very familiar with that. So
Very familiar.
It's not about the the chromosomes within our...
Gender dysphoria, you know what they used to call it when I was a kid? Just a real simple word. It was called insanity. And they had mental wards for those. And they had these neat little articles of clothing called straitjackets and these interesting rooms called padded cells. They didn't call it gender dysphoria.
No,
Nuclei, yeah, go ahead.
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
Chromosome. All right, sorry guys, they cut me off there a second. So we're back. Sorry, it might happen a couple times in this live stream. Just stay with me. We're not done yet.
With gender
Identity. Go ahead. So,
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on
Would you like
genetics.
to discuss the genetics or not?
well, no,
What are
no.
your genetics?
So
Okay, now that's very hard to hear. But Shapiro says, "What are your genetics, sir?" And here goes Zoe.
the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, wait, to be fair, wait.
By the way, you cut out now or you're going to go home in an ambulance is called a threat of violence. You know, you can call it whatever you want to, but truth says it's a threat of violence. And that's what's in people. There's violence in people if you tell them, hey, I'm a girl. Sorry, I don't buy that. No, I'm a girl. I don't buy that. Oh, a government? Yeah, can you initiate a $250,000 fine in the state of New York? Because they continue to misgender me, and I don't want to be misgendered. That is a step beyond delusion into delusional violence. You cut that out now, or you're going home in an ambulance. Well, I got news for you, Zoe. Ambulances don't take you home, they take you to the hospital. That was a threat of violence on the person of Ben Shapiro. That's what it amounts to, guys. They want to use force and violence to get you to buy into their delusion. And they've got to do it because their ideas are unsound. How else are you going to get people on board with your delusion unless you can force it upon people? Normal people who love the truth and like to walk in knowledge and like to accumulate wisdom on their journey don't buy into delusions because they're normal people. That's not what normal people do. Normal people don't ride the roller coaster of delusion. They ride the roller coaster of truth and knowledge and self-control and perseverance and all those things. So getting back to, I got a couple more clips and then we're going to get back to this first because there's just something really funny.
Well, with that, let's get right to the action.
Rise to the top, push it to the edge, give it all you got, barely break a sweat, strong woman, strong. Yeah, she's got speed, she's got the move, she's got the muscle and a whole lot.
And think about it, especially in the area of sports, it's absolutely unfair. What they're requesting is an unfair, uneven playing field. And that's another sign of somebody who lacks integrity. You have to come to that conclusion because that's what the truth is. Like I said at the beginning of this video, truth fears no scrutiny, and to try to squeeze truth into a moderate mold is to absolutely lie. And lies are destructive. See, it's like freedom begets Truth begets freedom, and lies beget slavery. The more you're involved in lies, the more you're involved in fiction, the more you're involved in delusion, the tighter and tighter slavery gets on your mind. You're only free if you walk in the truth. That's it. You're only free if you do those things which are right. If you do those things which are wrong, if you call violence for violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong because you want to force them into your delusion, you want to bring them into your house of horrors, it's immoral, utterly immoral. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's go back over this. Strong woman. Strong woman. Watch this. It breaks her arm. South Park is literally tearing this transgender idea to pieces in a funny way because it's so obvious. It's so obvious. You don't need two brain cells to rub together to know that a guy who calls himself a girl and then competes in women's events and then completely dominates, you don't need any brain cells, probably, maybe a half a brain cell, just to keep the lights on, to realize that is absolutely unfair, and that's not what people of integrity do. So let's go over this right now. Here's another thing I got pulled up. This right here is very interesting. This is from, let's see, let me get on here. This is from the Dr. Phil show. Now I'm going to play kind of a 2.5 minute clip here, but I want to do it because I want to show you the context of this lady right here that Dr. Phil is going to talk to. This black girl right here is convinced, or at least it's part of the act. If what everybody's saying on this Dr. Phil show is true, and you got to take that with a grain of salt, this black girl believes she's white. And the direct correlation is this man right here believes he's a woman. This black girl right here believes that she's white. Now listen to what this doctor says, and they would not say this about somebody transgender, but she doesn't have any problem saying it about a black girl who not only believes she's white, but she hates black people. She's literally a racist. Wait till you hear what she calls this black woman in the audience, this black doctor.
If you get caught up in the very extreme things that she's talking about, then you miss the tragedy of her story.
Okay, if you get caught up in the extreme things she's talking about, then you miss the tragedy of her story. What's the extreme thing that she's talking about? She's talking about the extreme thing that this black girl thinks she's white. That to her is extreme. But transgenders are trying to get us to believe that this guy saying this guy is a girl is not extreme. There is just always a hypocritical double standard somewhere.
And the tragedy is, unfortunately, Mom, you didn't intend to. And I actually heard you say, well, when I told her about who she was and then told her the truth later on, well, nobody was going to get hurt. Unfortunately, somebody did, the most important person, and that was your daughter. You lied to her about who she was. And then when you told her that she was something else, it caused a complete identity crisis.
Now, the rage is built. You don't see it now. I mean, you probably see it a little bit, but the rage is building up in her, just like it built up in Zoe Tur right here. Watch, and she'll express that here in a second. Because that's what's in their heart, guys. They really, really want to force everybody on their train of delusion.
So we have issues around culture, we have issues around class, we have issues around racial identity, and we have issues around self-esteem. It's not that she hates black people, it's that she hates herself and she wants her own life back. She wants her life back.
Well, I couldn't agree more, which is why I ask you, what is it that you're...
Yeah, okay, somebody's saying the black girl and her mom faked it. That could well be, but this is all still in play. This black girl calling herself a white girl could be a complete fake so that they can make money or get on a national stage on the Dr. Phil show. That could be, but it's still in play because at least this doctor that we just heard, this woman doctor, is being serious about this. You know, she's being clinically serious. So that makes all this in play and very relevant.
So upset with yourself about? Why are you so angry
I don't take hood rat serious at all. So I'm not gonna even pay her any money.
I don't know if you caught that, but this black girl called her a hood rat.
If I've been white since the day I've been born, then I'm still white now, and I will be white every day I wake up. Most definitely. There's nothing out here that can change my opinion. Not some hood rat telling me you don't know what you're talking about, or not you, Dr. Phil. No.
Do you think that it is becoming to you to refer to this very fine, well-educated woman that flew halfway across the country to reach out to you to refer to her as a hood rat? Do you think that's becoming to you?
Well, I don't know why she would.
Do you think that's flattering to you to do that? Do you think
I'm just telling the truth. I'm not lying.
Well, I didn't want to ask you.
I feel like it's becoming of me to tell the truth. So, yes.
I think at this point it's really important for us to deal with facts. And so, Treasure, I think exposure is important. And so I would absolutely invite you to come and shadow me in Atlanta.
Yep, so they're talking about exposure and they're talking about facts. And that is why this South Park thing is so freaking not only hilarious, but it cuts to the heart of what we're actually talking about. It's obvious truth that people are trying to cover up and obfuscate. They're just trying to make you think that, hey, yeah, don't worry about the fact that this woman outweighs these other women by 40 pounds and is like 2 or 3 times stronger and is twice as fast. Don't let that muddy the waters here. That is, in fact, a woman. They're trying to get you to deny the truth, to get on their boat, the ship that's leaving port of delusion. Bottom line. You know, in non-contact sports like running or pole vaulting or things like that, it's still obvious, but it's even more obvious when you put a man and a woman, a guy who calls himself a woman, into the ring with another woman, and he starts beating the crap out of her in a boxing match or in a wrestling match. It becomes like, excuse the pun, but it's painfully obvious. That woman's going to get hurt. Bones are going to break. Concussions are going to happen. And so basically what they want you to do is get on the board of delusion to the point where the women who are going to compete in these contact sports with these men could literally be in mortal jeopardy. They could become a vegetable. They could get punch drunk for the rest of their lives. And their lives are, you can't take it back. Once it's done, it's done. And it's brutal. And it's violence. And that's what these people want. Okay, that's it for that. Another thing you guys just reminded me of. I mean, it's funny and it's not funny about the ma'am. It's ma'am. Did you see how upset here? I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that up because it fits with what we're talking about. There's violence in these people's hearts. They really, really want you to know that they're. Oh shoot! I just closed my computer. Darn. Let me open it back up. That's a lame brain move right there. the computer completely shut off, which means I probably lost it. I had another thing coming up too. All right, I guess we'll be done. I guess I'm going too long anyway. So here's the deal, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'm gonna go outside here. Hi, y'all. Hello. We're gonna have some Thanksgiving dinner here in a second. All right, here's the deal. Oh man, it's a nice day out here. Oh, you know what? You want to see something? Look at this. It was a clear day a couple hours ago. I've been taking videos today. Look at this. Here, I'm just going to turn this around. Look at that. I mean, all day long, all day. Nothing to see here, right? There's nothing to see here. That's completely natural. I bet before aircraft, those kinds of clouds were in the sky everywhere. So natural, so beautiful. All right, I don't want to get off on that topic. All right. Anybody who's trying to get you to let go of the truth is your enemy. That's the bottom line. And I got to try to be real careful how I fashion my words here because we live in the age of censorship where YouTube's like, oh God, you shouldn't have said that. Here's your strike one, strike two. You're out of there. Look, if you're a man, a biological man who wants, who wants to call yourself a woman, have at it. People should be able to do whatever they want to with their own bodies. You want to put drugs in your body, you want to live as an alcoholic, have at it. It's your body, it's your life, do what you want to with it. But there comes a point where you cross the line where you try to make somebody believe what you believe. And it's like that it's ma'am. Yeah, that's funny. But think about what he did after that. I'm going to say him because it's a him. He wants you to believe so bad that listen, son of a, I'm going to take you out in the parking lot. I'll show you, ma'am. And then he kicks that display in that GameStop and he damages property. There's violence in his heart. Zoe Tur, violence in his heart. You keep that up, you're going to go home in an ambulance. There's violence in the heart of that girl, whether she was faking or not. She called that girl a hood rat. And, it's like, there's just violence. There's evil. It's evil. And the people who submit to the delusion are also being evil. And here's why, YouTube. Because when you push somebody toward a trans lifestyle, statistically speaking, this is not my opinion, statistically speaking, you push them toward a 40% more likely chance that they are going to want to commit suicide. What is the problem? What is the problem with people? And then you throw children into the mix. And then you want to get these genetic altering drugs into their system where it actually turns this little boy into a little effeminate being, or it makes this little girl masculine. Are you serious? Doesn't that piss you off? I can't even, I have 5 kids. And can you imagine the kind of abusive father I would be if I submitted or subjected them to these genetic altering drugs where it shrunk up their testicles and they became effeminate and it's irreversible? And then they become 40% more likely to commit suicide? It incenses me. Like sometimes you sit there and you think about it, you can't even talk or think about anything else. You think about all these kids. And you know what? The kids are on board with it because they're moldable. You can easily shape a child's mind. And if you get them before a certain point, you can shape them and mold them into this human being who's loving and compassionate and kind and giving and forgiving and who questions everything, who's not an order follower. I mean, the opportunities you have to shape a little child into an adult who cares about other adults, it's very rare these days. People are all into depression now, and people who get sex changes are in depression and they want to reverse it. And then there's permanent damage physically. Then they're 40% more likely to end their life because they're so depressed and they're so freaking messed up in the head. Guys, that's messed up. Let's say just me being a white heterosexual male, if I just paraded down my street, my little podunk town street of Tahlequah, Oklahoma, with my girlfriend, with my tongue down her throat and my hand down her pants, that's pretty inappropriate. But they do it in San Francisco all the time. It's like, dude, you don't have to flaunt your crap. Sleep with who you want to sleep with. You don't have to walk down the street naked in front of a bunch of little impressionable kids. It's just, if they do, here's what I always say. If they do this stuff when the lights are on and the cameras are rolling, what the hell are they doing when the cameras aren't on, when the door is closed? What are they doing to little kids? They don't care. And the reason they don't care is because they're desensitized. Their consciences are seared as with a hot iron. It's like, got no conscience anymore. What kind of evil can I get into? 40% more likely to commit suicide? Who cares? You better call me sir. You better call me ma'am, or we're going to charge you $250,000. New York, thanks. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep this short, under 30 minutes, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in right here. Please share this video before you exit. Give it a like. Please go take a look at my Las Vegas video that I just did. It's based on a lot of work done by the YouTuber. I can't remember his name. John. Somebody help me. John's. I want to give him a shout out because he did such a good job. The guy spent a lot of time highlighting those helicopters in the air at the Las Vegas event. Anybody know his name? John. I think it's John. John something. Whether Vegas was a hoax or not, it's they had an agenda and they pushed it. Shoot, John Hoover. Yeah, John Hoover. There you go. John Hoover's channel. Check it out. Just hey, I appreciate you guys. Share this video with everybody you know and help me overcome YouTube censorship and suppressions. Share this video with everybody you know, because this is a video I really think people need to see. I think South Park did a really good job. I'm not into all that Hollywood stuff, and they're degenerates over there, but it really highlighted a very, very interesting, very, very important topic that we, unfortunately, unbelievably, have to deal with in our lives, that people actually think they're a gender other than they really are. You got it's so hard not to get started again. You got women marrying roller coasters, men thinking they're dogs. The thing that I was going to pull up before I close my computer like a Dumbotron. You remember that 56-year-old guy who thinks he really believes he's a 6-year-old little girl, and this older man and woman took him in, and they dress him like a little girl with these little braids and like this little flowery doily looking dress thing. And he's, oh, God, I see these. Like the Jetsons, Jane, get me off this crazy thing. Anyway, I love every one of you guys. Look, truth is extreme, and to make it moderate is to lie, and truth fears no scrutiny. And if you have a good idea, you don't have to ram it down somebody's throat. If you got a good idea and a good concept, you don't have to make it mandatory and get the government involved and have them initiate force and violence on you to make you buy into it. Delusion it's corrosive to society. Lies are corrosive to society. Fallacy is corrosive to society. That's why I hate government. Government is a lie. Everybody who participates in government is a lie, and they're a corporate employee against the interests of the American people. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.